Good morning, guys. Welcome to the final show. We're going to be moving to short form content at the request of most of my Twitter followers. So those videos will be much shorter, probably like 7 to 10 minutes long, a little more targeted, and there'll probably be a lot less information in them. So to be upfront with you guys, I know that people, I was telling Max the reason people want short form content is they'll say it's their time, but in reality, they're circle jerking like 20 different channels, watching these 10-minute videos because they want to talk about crypto and price with their friends, whether that's on Discord in real life. So this being a trading channel, it's not going to benefit us to continue to put out really long form content, especially if everyone just wants short form. So we'll probably start abiding closer to that as we go forward. And then we'll do every day. I was talking to Max about it. Since I won't be live for YouTube, I'll probably just go live and we'll just sit around and talk about what trades we're going to take in the group that day, day trading wise during the New York session. So it'd be both me and Max most days for that. We've kind of said we'd like to both have someone to chat shit with for the group. So if you're not in the group, you won't have access to that. But if you are in the group, you'll get more live streams that are only for you guys, and they'll only be trading live streams. So Matt, you are the exception, unfortunately. You were the only one that liked it. So, and most of the people that watch these are in the group. And I was just noticing over looking at the metrics, we're not doing terrible. We're getting a little over 200 views a live stream, but really not doing much in the way of growth. And in order to attract more audience, things like that, I'm going to have to switch up how the content's done. And I've had to do this before in the past, and I know how it works. So that is going to be the route we go. There will probably still be random sporadic live streams here and there. And I'll still go on other shows, but more than likely going to be moving towards 7 to 10 minutes. And then AZTV says he's short. Good for you. I hope it hits whatever target you've got in mind. So Max, anything to add now that we've dropped the news to the 20 that are watching? Thank you guys for being here. Before we share some charts and we talk some price.
Nothing at all.
Nothing at all.
Got to keep the theme going. Got to keep the theme going. I never have anything to say at the start. Can't change it all of a sudden.
Yeah, no, you're consistent, and we appreciate that. Yeah, so price, guys, not much to really talk about here. You had the daily swing fail up here at the high. This is what we covered last night in our group members live stream. Realistically, looking for short positions was the goal. Mainly to come down off of something like this. There's your short setup. You had the same on Ethereum, which we're going to talk about. We did cover Ethereum quite a bit this last time, and we're going to talk about one of the key levels, short until 10K. I highly doubt that, but that is, anything can happen. We'll just say that anything can happen, but I think that's fairly unlikely based on now. I won't be doing any mouth open thumbnails. That'll never happen. You guys will never get me doing that. Max can do that on one of my days off, maybe, and he might get you guys, but I'll never actually do that. So
we'll get you one day with it.
Yeah, no, you'll never get.
If you have to Photoshop it, we're gonna do it.
You'll never get me with the O face, man.
We will. And it will be on one of the days when Magic isn't there. I'll make sure there's an O face of Magic there.
Yeah, hey, if all fair play, if you can pull that off,
Got the skills,
the views better be through the roof. That's all I'm gonna say.
If I haven't got the skills, 5 Raz.
You know what? There is definitely going to be some guy on there for $5 that would probably do that for you. Anyways, so you've seen what the setup looks like in terms of a daily time frame short, which came in right here at about 30,595. We were kind of hoping to see maybe a little bit bigger push above these local highs here. However, I did have it mapped out on my chart yesterday that this was the box I was going to be looking for. It was just based on these local highs. That's all it was. We got the initial push. It just did not quite take the high into that local gold pocket right here. Okay. So from there, what have you done? Well, you've lost your overall range point of control. You found your way back into your monthly range here. If we turn on our anchored VWAPs, and we'll get rid of the yearly bands here. We don't need those. The one I'm keeping an eye on right now is our monthly. So for April, you can see we're coming back to that monthly average. We are 16 days in, so I'm still expecting to see that. And if you guys were paying attention in the last live stream, We talked about 29,182 being the quarter one high. It is the bump in the road before this secondary single print. So we do need to determine, what we need to see if we're going to consider this a low. For me, I think that it's likely we still come down to this box. Personally, think that we're going to come down to like 28.7, 26.50, fill out this single print, maybe even a little lower. It wouldn't be out of the question to come all the way down to 28,000 even and fill in the weekly MPOC and hit our caveman level. So, where do I become, where I start to think it's less likely that we do that? I do think it comes down to a market structure range at that time. And you can see that we have left that market structure range once already. Let's go up here. I believe it is this one. And it would basically be the recovery at this point of 29,873, that level we've been kind of speaking about pretty consistently, right? So this would be the area I'd like to see reclaimed. You can see it's also your value area low. You would also be recovering your previous low right here. Okay, so that would put you back above like 29.6, but that would be where things start to look a little bit better. Is it out of the question to pump all the way back to, like, say, the point of control of the old range before making a move down at like 30,200? Sure it is. I just don't favor that scenario, I guess. I would think that this would be resistance and you would see that move down, but anything can happen. So for me, if I'm interested in price again, I either need to see something in the order flow or I need to see this blue box down here. And the reason it's such an important box is it was obviously resistance before. It's that major June low from 2021. Your 6-month pivot is there, your quarter 3 pivot, all the things are here. And if we lose that area of the chart, well, probably going to cycle all the way back down to 26,724. And then, as I said before, we have a completely different conversation on structure, right? If we do something like this, we don't want to see that. And everybody's going to be calling out head and shoulders, things like that. But direction still, if we're going strictly off market structure, is still to the upside. So it's still too early to call for a full-on reversal here. I'm just being patient and waiting for the best odds opportunities, which are going to be boxes for me, my boxes. And if you know where this box comes in at, and we'll talk about this in terms of overall trend, right? We did mention that we have this guy right here. Let's get rid of this and this. Okay, so we see that we have this old market structure range from prior, and we've come up to the point of control, and we've effectively failed to push through to the high of the range. We've gotten pretty close, but giving up 29,873, which does serve very nicely as the EQ right here, you can see, we would expect to see the bottom of the range now. So we'd be looking down towards this area of the chart. And, I think that's going to do just fine for us. One thing I would like to see is, based on our breakout of 25K, I do want to extend this over and just see what this all looks like if we mesh it all together. And there you have it. There's your value area high. So if price cannot recover 29,873, I would expect to see that test at the single print closure and the value area high and that June 22nd low, aka the value area low of the prior session or the prior market structure range. And also just our horizontal levels are all here. So this seems to be the area in the chart I would spend the most attention on if I was looking for a new long. It may not get there all at once. I've described this region here right here as a pit stop, to be honest with you. This quarter one high. Is it a bounce territory? Yes, but I do think it would be just a pit stop before coming down and actually filling in these levels here. So, and I'll be interested to potentially put on positions there. So we'll see what happens. But if we recover this and I get an opportunity to take a long, I'm glad to take it. It's too late for shorts. Yesterday, we talked about trying to find a short because as we went live, the dump had already started. So we said, well, if we can get the push back up, we're really looking for that gold pocket if it happens, and we would like to short it down to where initially it was 28K, but after that we said, okay, then we're looking for our pit stop level, and then we're looking for this blue box. It was just a matter of getting an entry, and we were about an hour too late, so which kind of stinks, but we have set times, so I think I messed that up. Max can throw me under the group. You take on Harmony 1. I probably won't look at Harmony 1. I've looked at people before. If I have time, I might in the group.
What do you reckon you messed up?
Huh?
What do you reckon you messed up?
The yesterday on the timing. I'm trying to keep up with the comments. I don't do a very good job of that when we're live. So hang on just a second.
Oh yeah. We'd have been live as the thing went up.
Yeah, we went live as the trade started happening, which kind of sucks because, you know.
No, we went live when it was done.
Yeah, basically when it was getting underway here. Short until 10K. Good morning. Win mouth open thumbnails. Okay. Grant says, I like you guys because you don't do that shit. Oh, he's talking about the O faces. Yeah, we won't be doing that, Grant. But I also won't be doing like garbage videos either. They'll still be fairly high level, just less information than you get in these because it's impossible to put that much information in a short form. You know, it's like, it's just not how it goes. Matt likes them long.
That cracked me up when I read
that. Probably won't look at one today just because I am on a time crunch. 2021 open coming in. Yeah. I used to have that marked on chart. We're going to talk about Bitcoin dominance, QNT, AVAX. Yeah, a lot of hype around AVAX right now. I've covered that one in the past. Probably not going to make this a super long episode, guys, where I take a bunch of altcoin requests. I didn't do it before, and I'm not going to start doing it now. So those are things that in the group, if you're in there, hit me up, tag me in there, and I'll take a look at them. But in terms of like spending an hour and a half on live going over them, seeing how the lives perform and whatnot, it's just kind of a pointless thing to do for me. But talking about altcoins, we will get into Bitcoin dominance here. You know where I'm looking for on Bitcoin now. If we lose this level, yeah, I mean, I think you start breaking below, I don't want to say 28K, but this blue box turns into resistance. I really do think you look all the way down to, probably 26,724 to 26,900, give or take, this little region of the chart. But Bitcoin dominance, what did we talk about last week, guys? We said my bias is to the upside. However, what are we looking to see? The reaction of the 2022 high. And now you've got your sell-off, right? So you now have the potential, when everybody always asks, is there altcoin season coming? When will my shitcoin moon? If Bitcoin dominance pulls back here, I mean, fairly quickly, right? So if it pulls back and we start breaking market structure here, which we could very easily, probably figure that out. Where is that? I would say you're pretty close to breaking it already, to be honest with you. Like you're almost there. Hey, get out. I don't know if you guys can hear my dog in here whining, but he wants a walk, and it's not that time. So I would say you're fairly close. If you cannot hang on to this like 46.91 cent, I mean, yeah, this is going to make a retrace. And you guys know that my target on this is coming back down into like the 40, I think it was 44 and then 42.83 cents. So, or percent, excuse me. That would be good for altcoins. However, if Bitcoin dominance does get a turnaround here, I wouldn't call this a formal breakdown just yet, but getting close. Because what is a weekly? Yeah, that's a weekly candle. That's not good. I would say this is probably coming back to earth. That this could pull all the way back into this range, and that would be good for altcoins as long as Bitcoin's holding support. If Bitcoin starts dumping, it's not going to be good for altcoins, even if dominance is decreasing, right? That's not a thing. Yeah, I agree. Alt season, I'm not a fan of the idea of alt season. I think that we've kind of already seen that move. So if Bitcoin starts dumping, guys, even with Bitcoin dominance coming back in here, you start breaking back in here and making these large moves down, I'm not going to be getting into altcoins. It's like, I don't think that rotation of capital is coming. And Ethereum is now coming down. Like we talked about the quarter one low, that we can't take it off the chart for a reason. While we have this box up here, Q1 low is that area. It is that guy. And now you need to see it come back test the old channel that it was in, also back test the 12M1 and the 6M2, meaning that 1988 to 1946 is going to be your key levels on Ethereum to hold on to, in my opinion. And if it cannot do so, well, you're in for trouble. Now, if Bitcoin doesn't dump and altcoins have their moment, let's say Bitcoin comes back to here, puts in a larger range, things could go well for altcoins. In that scenario where dominance is coming down, where Bitcoin is just ranging sideways, not necessarily mooning or dumping, that's good for altcoins. You can have those like little mini 7 to 10 days, whatever it may be, where altcoins have their run. But otherwise, like I've been saying, you're at major resistances here. Like if you're buying up in this region, you have to be buying at like key levels of support, which for us was 1842.80. Did come down below it a little bit to 1874.10. But if you're buying here with a stop loss down here, you should be taking profits along the way, because your reward is far less than it is when you bought in down here, right? So you have to be scaling out quicker, in my opinion. And if you're not a trader and you're taking this position right here off the same recommendation I said, where, well, this is support, so you got to buy support here, and you're like, this is a hodl position. That's not really how it works. Unfortunately, it's probably going to get run back. So that's just something to keep in mind. But yeah, dominance for me, I mean, you can see this is a really big area on the chart. I would put a box here like normal. And I would just say that, barring anything too crazy, this would be the target zone for this little dumpola party on Bitcoin dominance. Where's this low? This is the major low I want. 46.77%. So that's going to be the low that I'm going to be watching. I think it's pretty certain we're going to hit it. And then I want to see what happens from there. If it can hold this low and put in a larger range underneath resistance, that would certainly be good. But otherwise, you have effectively weekly swing fail of the high here. And you are looking at potentially losing some pretty key structure, because when these things do come down, it comes down pretty hard, meaning people are taking profits, probably selling out of Bitcoin. Not going to be good for altcoins in that light. So be cautious. M&M. Yep. Yeah, so we're kind of jumbled today a little bit, but the TA is very good. It's very standard. Like we matter of patience here. Didn't quite get to the targets we want. Still wanted to see if these were going to be resistance. They could still be hit. Nothing is broken. However, if you're looking for longs, I would just be careful. That's the thing, is you have to realize where you are on the chart. So if you're looking for a long, wait for the major supports. And even if they don't get hit, then it's just not worth it to just be in the market to be in the market. You know what I mean? So if you don't get what you want, with the risk being set to your tolerance, don't just throw your line out there hoping that you're going to make money, because you're probably not going to in that scenario. But that's really all I've got. Ethereum, again, we're going to cover this one fairly quickly. I'm not even going to divide up the chapters. Q1 low, 21.5580, almost hit it to the T with 21.46. I'd be looking for a pullback into this region most likely, and a retest. If you get above 21.55, I do think that the move up is pretty decent. At least, this box up here right around like 23.65 to 24.57. Me, as I've said, I'm not buying in this region of the chart. I've already allocated to my Ethereum. And yes, the big target for me was 1988.70. So that was a place that I was selling Ethereum. Am I upset that I didn't sell the exact high? No. Because why would I? Am I all out of Ethereum? No. But if we start breaking back into this range, specifically below the July high at 1785, in my opinion, you're going to see me unload quite a bit. Probably more than probably, I'll be getting out of quite a bit of Ethereum at that time, looking for a larger pullback. But we take whatever data comes at the time and we make decisions then. That's just the rough plan as of right now. So have to be patient. I'm going to turn it over to Max, or I'll just keep talking and let him do the old order flow thing, that whole bit.
Okie dokie. Right. I can't remember which day it was last week, but we mentioned these single prints blowers, and we said how this region is going to be the one that gives us the support, the bit where it's dividing the two single prints. It's the old high from that range, and you produced a lot of volume when we were here. We weren't here for too long, but you produced a lot of volume when we were here before we got that last move up on that trading day. Now you've closed that single print, this one here. Really, you don't really want to be coming in and testing that lower single print. Reason being is, well, if you break into that single print, not only have you got, you're re-entering the previous range. And what do you do when you re-enter the previous range? You cycle it and you go to the point of control, which is down. I believe it's at 28k. It is at 28k. So start breaking into this. Though it's at the top of the single print is 29k. It's $1,000 move down if you do start making your way into that old range. Also today, we've generated another single print, which is kind of the resistance now. You want to get back above that. However, you can see this. I don't know if you can see this, but you can see the yellow line. That's the current day's VWAP. So it's going to be some resistance, around that single print. If we can even make it there right now, to be honest with you. If we look at the Oh, I'm really zoomed out. I'll just go over what I was going to talk about, then I can zoom out again and go over what I was mentioning there. Looking at this current low that we've got, it's really not all that. So I do expect it to be taken again. However, you can see the when we made this low, this one earlier today, huge volume, huge delta, negative delta on that candle, and the open interest was a big drop. Also, definitely some positions changing hands there, but I think that's just people setting limit orders as at the bottom of the range, not really anything to get too concerned about, because it's not like any of those positions really did anything in holding the price up. When you're looking for positions changing hands, you really want to see it be really tight and compact, because then that kind of tells you that whoever is absorbing those positions is got a bit of weight. The fact that it's such a big candle is kind of like, well, it's probably just a load of retail traders thinking they're buying the bottom of the range. But yeah, the low that we've got, it's not all that. But the reason you could tell, I mentioned in the group, I don't know if any members in the group spotted what I put in the order flow section, where I said, I'm really expecting this low. Let me go and find it, actually. Yeah, low's decent. Yeah. Low's decent, but I reckon we will take it still. Meaning, even though this low normally would be quite good, you've got high volume, high negative delta, and big open interest drop. The fact that you had these buyers come in here and price pretty much did fuck all after it, and it started to fade it straight away. You could pretty much tell that this low wasn't going to hold. Came down, made a new one, and this low isn't that good. So probably going to take it again, to be honest with you. The thing that I wanted to mention and why I was zoomed out so much is we went over this yesterday in the member stream, but we had huge bullish divergence, which is, the issue with divergence is it's great when it plays out in your favor, but what is delta? It's leading until it's not. So when we could identify that we have this huge bullish divergence, it effectively means there's a lot of selling, and due to the open interest climbing throughout that range, it means there's a lot of shorting taking place. So there's a lot of pressure on price right now to, keep lower prices, because if it tries to get back into this range, everyone that has, entered short here has now been given an opportunity to take profits, and they may want to, let's say they've not completely closed out their positions, they may want to hold the price down below their even larger positions above us. So this range now really does become resistance. So definitely mark out some regions on this chart and expect that if we are to come back up there, it's probably going to reject, because there's so much resistance above us now. And where is that coming? It comes in closing that single print and where the view up is. So if we do get that today, it could be a nice short for anyone that's missed shorting up here. But yeah, other than that, really not got too much to go over. Weak low, a lot of resistance above us. Don't really want to make our way into the single prints below. I don't think I have anything else. I'm done, halas.
Short and sweet, just like the upcoming content.
Yeah.
We did say we were going to do DXY today. Let's take a look at the DXY. We have one level on the chart. What did we say? We're going to make a new low. We've made a new low. You've swept the low. And now you're all the way back to 102.21. So again, the one important thing about this chart, I'm not sharing my screen. Mother of God. Max, what were you to tell me?
You're a boomer, mate.
Where were you to tell me? We talked about these two lines at 101.297 and 101.644, and these are monthly breakers. And what did we say? We need to see a material close below these levels. However, we found our way back into this, even on like a 1 to 4 hour, time frame after this initial bounce. We were expecting to take the low. You've taken the low. You've now got effectively a solid low on the DXY. The 12M is now being hit again. And if you were to take this level out, I mean, you're probably looking for a decent sized run up here. And you can see that, you were in this channel. Now you're looking to come back to the high of the channel. If you break this channel, I would expect to see this blue box up here. So DXY is at support. It's at multi-month support. And again, this is where the high time frame really shows through that, the one thing that we mentioned specifically is we're not necessarily looking for like a daily close below this box and these levels. These are monthly levels. So if you come down here and you start, messing around, don't get caught with the DXY at support. Now, however, if we got a clean break of the level, sure, like you get a clean break here and you turn it into resistance, yeah, we target 96.5 over time. But until then, this is still the idea at play, is that we could be put in this larger range here, right? And then you get something like a triangle, whatever it may be, right? So you could end up with something like that. You could end up with a double bottom here. You do have to remember that the 6M SFP here at 105,788, quite a few lines on the chart. Let me get rid of a couple of them. There we go. And we'll make this guy nice and thick, just like you guys like it. Boom. There is your 6M SFP. We got to the 6-month chart for those that are new. You've failed to close above the first half of January in terms of the DXY strength on any of the following months, right? So we've been back to this level several times in the year of 2023 already. Once, took the high again here twice, take the low. So you've come up, you've created a range. You've now taken the high of the range. You've now taken the lows of the range. That's usually a good sign if you're trading this as some kind of a accumulation. So I would be careful in this region. I do remain neutral. There are gonna be a lot of people calling this inverse head and shoulders. I do need to see 102.21 reclaimed and to get out of this like falling channel, so to speak, locally. And if you do, you're going to see 103.65 and 103.82. What does that do for Bitcoin? We just talked about it. We're looking for potentially all the way down to 28K in the near term. At least I am anyway, until there's a sign of strength in the chart. So the DXY certainly is supporting that. Now, if it gets rejected here, which seems somewhat unlikely, yeah, things can turn around. A quick loss of, I would even say, today's low at 101.531 would make me think we're coming all the way back down to the prior day open at 101.02, and probably going to make a new low and actually break this low at that time, in my opinion, unless it's putting in a larger form of consolidation, which it often does not do. I don't know if you guys notice, the reversals are generally pretty, the true reversals on this chart generally come in like one fucking candle. And it's almost always an SFP. Max knows how we like it. But yeah, so you've done what you were supposed to. These are the only levels we're marking out. And if this little range right here is eventually broken, then I expect to see 96.5. So you have a very clear area here, right? Let's turn this off. We have, I got the brush on. I'm a boomer, right? So we got this guy here, and you've got your range high up here. Okay, where's our EQ? Right there. It's in balloon. It's in blue here. So you effectively have a channel. That's all you're doing. Is you're only trading in certain areas. Bottom of the channel, top of the channel, middle of the channel, right? For something like the DXY, this would be my preferred method to trade this asset. Be something like this. And we'll just move this on over. And there you go. So now we've got a really, really nice trading channel for the DXY. You've got your local low. You've got your EQ and median, which, I could probably get rid of some of this stuff on here. I'm going to get rid of the EQ. I'll leave the EQ. It's pretty nice. And you trade it back to the high. So what are we looking to do? Take it back to the EQ right around 103.77 or the 2016-17 highs. Anything after that, where are we going? We're going back up to 105.788. And then you got to worry about this thing busting on out. And if it does, we talked about this being a potential for, you could look at this as like a 5% move. And where is the only line that I have up here? It's way up there. That would be the retrace. That doesn't mean new highs for the DXY. It just means, it's having a mean reversion. You did leave behind your Q1 and 6M1 so far this year. In terms of mean reversion, those are untapped. Those are statistical targets. So you have to be looking at it in that fashion. So we'll see what happens. 102.21 is where you're at now. It's that 12M level. It's been a good level for us. If you get above it, I expect to see the 2016-17 highs and then eventually the 6M SFP up here at 105.788. Simple. That's the DXY in a nutshell. And that does not bode well for Bitcoin. So again, when we talk about Bitcoin and we say, where would I want to long Bitcoin? You got to be careful. We got to look at Bitcoin and say, where's the best places to be putting on a risk? We can't just be dabbling in the middle of the range. It's just not wise. So we have to say this blue box, which has historically been support once, resistance over here. Will it be support now? There's no guarantees it will. It's the closure of a single print. It's right at the value area high of an old range. Well, not an old range, a cumulative range. If we're considering that it will come down, we're making the assumption it's coming down here. That's an area to have on your chart for sure. But that might just be an intraday trade. Again, the trend is not really lost, but if we start losing this blue box, I do start to favor the idea that maybe we come all the way back down to the weekly SFP and the old range highs. And if you guys recall what we still have here, monthly pivot that's untapped, quarterly pivot that's, got a few months left down here at 24/7. So that would be the reversion there. And then it becomes a game of, is this all one big deviation before finding reentry? And if it does find reentry, I will tell you straight away, you can see all this open space right here. This was a very quick move up and quick move down. A quick move down can occur. You just have to be, somewhat ready for that. So that's not to get too far ahead of ourselves. We're 31 minutes in. I'm going to go ahead and end it right there. Somebody asked earlier, so Max will be ready here with his QR code, I'm sure. But we did have a question from S&P. My friend S&P anyway. He's very, very polite on the internet, which I appreciate. He's not polite to everyone, but he is polite to me. Wherever that went. I cannot find your... There it is. Boom. Appreciate the TA Magic. Thank you very much. I'm going to get serious about learning and trading soon. How can I join the group? You click that little QR code that Max had up there, or you don't click it, you scan it. It's the boomer in me thinking you can click everything. Yeah, you scan that. It takes you over there. It tells you everything that we do. There's an academy on there once that you're in, and you can go through all those and then get in the Discord. But definitely want to be more hands-on with the group. So going to short form content might be for the best. It's just I'm not as accountable with short form content that's static because I don't know if you guys know this. I don't enjoy making content that much. I know. Yeah.
You love it.
I like the live streams because I get to interact with people and, I get to talk to someone. But we will sort that out. My old channel had many, many more views, and it was all static content. So I can make it work. But otherwise, smash the like. If you guys have questions, all you got to do is comment on the video. I read every single comment, so they are always appreciated. Max, anything to add before we hop off?
No, when we change to short form content, it's going to be different for obviously the people that aren't paying, because like when I was talking about the bullish divergence and all that and tried to do a bit of an educational bit on it, you're not going to be getting the same thing. So it is a shame. We'll miss it, but it's what it is.
Yeah. All right. Cheers.